Hello fellow Pokemon fans, I'm Brasscoin and welcome to my channel. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet has just come out, which means we have the opportunity to explore the brand new beautiful world of Paldea, and I gotta say I've enjoyed every minute of my exploration, except maybe a few points where I was looking for these stakes we're gonna go over in this video. I still had a lot of fun doing it. Some of them are just a little bit tedious to find. That having been said, among the new Pokemon that we can find are 4 members of the Ruinous Quartet, as they come to be called in the game. They are 4 Dark-type Pokemon. They're not monotype. They each have a different subtype as well. Today, we're going to be going after the one that is Ground Dark. I'm going to slaughter the name of that Pokemon, but it is Ting-Lu. It's a bull-looking Pokemon with a bull on its head. So we'll take a look at that here in a few moments. But first, let's dive into where you're going to find these stake locations on the map of Paldea. Here is that overworld map. Again, it is sectioned off nicely into 4 quadrants. We are in that upper left-hand quadrant for the lime-colored stakes, or as other people may be calling them, lime green, bright yellow, or just green. To me, they look green, so we're going to go with lime green on those ones. First one, we're going to start off in this desert, the place where you would normally find Iron Tread or the Great Tusk. We've got a lot of Doniphan and Fanfees here. We're going to jump up past these ruins onto this ledge, and you should come across an area where, well, I'm going to get taken out by some Rufflet, apparently. From the Asado Desert, we're just going to jump into West Province Area 2, and there are a few drop holes that lead into an underground cave system. We want this one with a flag on it, and we're going to drop right on top of stake number 1. And again, like I said, these stakes appear to be yellow, but the door gives off a more greenish hue to it. So yeah, oh my gosh, it's raining Tauros. That's pretty cool. Yeah, this green hue, yellow stake, we're going to be in the top left-hand region. Just going to refer to them as lime-colored. I feel like that's a pretty fair color for the rest of the video, despite the fact that you may have searched for a different key term to get to this video. The next one's just a few feet away. We're just going to drop out of this underground cave system and onto the grassy area by the river, and you can already see that stake number 2 sitting right there. So we'll go ahead and grab that one and move on to stake number 3. Again, these stakes take a long time to register, and it may make you feel like your game froze while trying to pull them out. If it wasn't for the rain around me, I would thought that my game had froze that one. But I haven't had it freeze yet, so we're on good track there. Moving on to stake number 3, it's going to be right here on this little hill at the end of this peninsula looking thing. These stakes are actually the easiest to do in a cohesive manner. I feel like it's very easy to actually make a pattern out of all of these stakes. It kind of goes in a circle around this lake, which is really nice. It makes it easy to know and predict where they're going to be. But we can already see the location for that first stake directly in front of us, right next to that pine tree on top of that hill. So we'll just continue the rest of the way, swimming towards that, and ignoring the Pokemon that looks like it should be in the Aeroscuta line. Gosh, I really think that they should have just committed. Like, they made it look almost exactly like Aeroscuta, so it should be just a 3rd evolution for that line. Here we're just going to jump up onto the hill and find our 3rd stake for this run. Yeah, something that I didn't know, the shiny sparkle sound doesn't happen, so make sure that if you think a Pokemon might be shiny, that you definitely go and check that out, because I had played everything that I've done up to this point not realizing that. So I might have missed a few. And there is our 4th stake for this run. Let's move on to the 5th. Actually, I'm pretty confident that was only the 3rd and this one's the 4th. Yeah. Let's move on to the 4th one. It's so hard to keep track in post. Okay, so we're just going to climb up to the top of this so we can have an easier time of gliding. just gonna jump off this side, fly across the river. I will get momentarily sidetracked for where I'm supposed to go. I kind of jump up on this hill to the right. It's not where I want it to be, but I kind of psyched myself out, I think. So yeah, I'll jump up there, get some more height, and then just fall off the edge. Because I kind of forgot that that's not where the flag is. Let's continue going straight up here towards the actual flag, and there on that little hill we should start to see it come into picture. I've kind of seemed to notice that a lot of these stakes appear in, near, or around ruins. So if there's some broken down buildings, you might want to take a look around this immediate surrounding area to see if you can find another one of these stakes. This is stake number 4. We'll move on to stake number 5. As soon as the system catches up and registers it, I click the A button to pull that stake out of the ground. And there we go. That has been pulled. It crumbles away, of course. And now we can move on to the real stake number 5. Which should be right about at the edge of this mountain range here. So unfortunately, I think the best flying location is either going to be in the center of the lake, or at the top of the hill, or at the edge of the lake. There's 3 kind of pretty close, so pick out whichever one you prefer. If you prefer climbing to destinations, go for it. If you prefer descending to destinations, go for that. It doesn't really matter. I prefer the center of the lake because I think it's actually the closest, with the easiest to see and dodge wild Pokemon. Love being able to see Pokemon come up from underneath the water as well. I think that's an extremely cool touch that they added. This game is getting a lot of hate for some graphical challenges, some connectivity issues, some glitches where characters are appearing far too big, where Pokemon are spawning right on top of or underneath characters. I haven't really noticed it happening a lot in my game, maybe a few times here and there. Nothing game breaking for me, like I'm pretty chill, but I definitely don't excuse the Pokemon's companies putting this game out with that stuff still happening. Like, I think they should definitely be focusing more on making a game good and decent the first time. After we get to the edge there, we can see our yellow stake. You can kind of see the lighthouse from the northern area, and I had to take a capture for my guide that I'll be doing later on these stakes as individual locations that you might find a Google Doc in the description below for pictures of what the surrounding area is supposed to look like for each stake. But for the purpose of this video, I think this is done nicely enough. Let's move on to stake number 6 now. We're going to be at the other edge of the mountain range. For this one, there are 2 really good fly points within range. The Pokemon Center right there, and I guess there's a lot more. There's like 4 Pokemon Centers surrounding this one. So just pick whichever one you have unlocked, whichever one you feel is closest. I think I end up going for the one up by Grisha or the fly point over here by the Watchtower. Both of them would have been great options. Again, I prefer climbing and swimming up to my points as opposed to anything else. But let's just check the map again, make sure we know where we're going. And if you open up the map and close it, you will auto face the direction of your next flag. So that's something that's really cool. It's a good feature to have to help keep you from getting lost and disoriented. Sometimes this little mini map is quite difficult to navigate, especially if you have auto facing north off or something like that. I noticed several times where the map would just rotate 90 to 180 to pretty much any degree imaginable other than just north is always north. That's my preferred method, is north will always be facing north. I think it makes things easier so you can just look at the map and know approximately where you're at, as opposed to auto rotating to fit the direction your character is facing. Gosh, that is just so annoying. It does not help you figure out where you need to be. As you can see, the stake should be right where I'm at, so that just means we need to go up a little bit more onto the next ledge and find that there. I believe this was stake number 6. Stake number 6. We have 2 more left to find. So as soon as the system registers that I pulled it out of the ground, we'll move on. Again, this is one of those things that I probably could have made more condensed in post, but I enjoy doing the location as well as method of travel to get there for my videos. My viewers and subscribers mentioned that they liked that one better. This next one is actually going to be on this island. It's going to be on the littler island, so we'll fly back to the center of the lake here in a moment and just make a short surf over to the next area. And I'm pretty sure in most of the times I've ran through this as a test, I've utilized this one as the 7th stake, and there's actually one on the island we just flew to, but because that island puts us closer to the seal, I put it as the 8th one instead, so that we're just a little bit closer to a flying location for that. But here on this small island, in between the 2 islands, you'll see this 7th stake. It's going to take, again, an eternity for the system to register that I clicked A next to or on this stake and pull it out of the ground. A little annoying, but nothing too worrisome. I managed to not have my Switch hooked up to receive updates, so I'm playing this before there is an update on it. It may be better experience for you guys. I do know that the update had a bunch of quality of life improvements as far as glitches and whatnot, but I didn't have my system connected to the internet, so I was able to just pop this game in and play it without the update. That having been said, we are on that middle island of this lake. Let's go ahead and grab our last stake, and then I'll be able to show you guys where the door is at. Again, if you have taken all of the history lessons past the midterm and past the final, you will be able to have these map locations on your map themselves. I happened to find all of these before even knowing that that was a thing. Like, I didn't know that your history teacher would give you the location for all of these shrine gates. She doesn't give you the location of the stakes, to my knowledge, but these shrine gates, these seals, they definitely do. So we'll just follow Koreidon's pinpoint, because as soon as you open up that seal, he will make note of where the seal sounds were coming from and point you in the correct direction. Ironically enough, me placing that marker there was a complete accident. Initially, when I did this, I had no idea where the seals were. This was the 4th set that I found, so this is the last video that I worked on, the last ones that I went out to hunt. And just based off of the location of the other shrines and the location of all of the stakes, I just made a stab at it, a guess, and randomly said, you know what, I'm just going to select that area. And it turned out to be right, so it made it super cool when I went through and did the video for this. That it just happened to be the exact right location. I thought I would just get close to it, but no, this is dead on. Excuse me while I got psyched out about that Lurantis. I thought it might be a Slowking, because as of yet, I don't know if he's in the game. Theoretically, he should be, because Slowpoke is, but I don't know if a King's Rock is. I haven't been following that the best, but here we have Koreidon sticking his face into the seal. Really wants to know what Pokemon is inside there. But here we have the Bowl Pokemon, the Ruinous Pokemon, Ting-Lu, if I remember the name correctly. We'll throw a Pokeball at it in just a second with my Tinkaton. But here is Ting-Lu, Vessel of Ruin. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it helped you find all 8 of the stakes for the lime green, the bright yellow area. Here is a map showing all of the locations of those pins for quick reference. I'll catch you guys in another video.